Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle. Me. In my continued research and observations about the dumping of chemicals into the sky. Some people call it chemtrails or sky spraying or geoengineering or weather warfare, weather control. What's really going on? So since 2005, I've been photographing or videoing the dumping of chemicals into the sky. But recently, a lot crazier things are going on. A lot of crazy accusations, like we the people are under attack with all kinds of advanced technological weapons. Biological, electromagnetic, chemical, psychological. It just goes on and on and on. So this ought to be an interesting video, kind of an eclectic video, a mixing of a bunch of different topics, trying to make a point. But before I get into that, I'd like to watch a couple minutes the first 5 days observations, videos about the sky spraying here in the mountains of North Carolina. So take a look at this couple clips, and then I'm going to talk about some other things, and then maybe another clip, and talk about some other things, and maybe another clip. This little roller coaster about the who, what, and why. I really believe people need to wake up, and a lot of people out there making videos, including doctors and scientists, have all been warning us, but it doesn't seem like people are really waking up. So look at the first 5 days of my videos in February of the dumping of chemicals, maybe biologicals, and electromagnetic activity in the sky. You can see the ripples. So the heavy metals they're dumping obviously would interact with electromagnetic radiations like metal filings, etc. So take a look at this. February 1st, almost 8 o'clock on this Friday morning. The sun is coming up, as you can see. But there's spray lines, not continuous. As you can see, they have starts and stops. So somebody's coming along. See, there's multiple lines, non-continuous. Here's one that just started above, going right towards those other lines. Here comes another one. So obviously on this Friday morning, first day of February, here in the mountains of North Carolina, let me pan around and show you what I mean. South, west, 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 north, east, but east, oh my, these guys are busy dumping chemicals in the sky, blocking the sun. For whatever reason, this is where they're placing all those chemicals, painting the sky pasty white with chemicals. 27 degrees here in the mountains of North Carolina. The sun is rising. And we're being sprayed like we're bugs. Rick Miracle reporting, video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. First, almost 9:30 on this Friday morning. 2019. It's my second video of the day. Paying attention to the dispersed dumped chemicals that you can see. And it's apparent they're still only spraying off towards the east, southeast. Looks like might be some clouds coming in on the northeast. And whatever they're spraying off towards the southeast, obviously line after line after line, the wind must be blowing towards the west, as you can see above. So the dispersal has some kind of intention, purpose. It looks like a plane is spraying way over there, a big fat line. In the center of this video. Right on top of that tree. Obviously line after line after line after line. And not all over the sky, as you can see. Doing a 360. So, what are they dumping and why? Rick Miracle reporting. February 2nd. Almost 10 o'clock. A little bit of sky spraying going on off towards the southeast. But if I pan around, looks like some clouds on the horizon there. Not sure what that stuff is. But this is definitely dumped chemicals. Why would they be doing that? And I've been noticing the jets have been flying from southeast to northeast, which is a different flight pattern than I notice, with the spray lines behind them. So I guess it's a targeted thing they do, where they're spraying. Rick Miracle reporting. February 3rd, about 10 minutes after 1 o'clock on this Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday. Looking up at the sky here and noticing the dumping of chemicals. Let me pan around and show you. Looks like a lot of stuff dumped in the sky. You can see what the clouds look like. And you can see what this dump stuff looks like. Over there on the horizon, tons of dump stuff. You can tell by the long straight lines. Clouds are puffy, round. So a lot of what you see on this Sunday, 2019, is dumped chemicals in the sky. There's another straight line squirt over here by the tree, center of this video. Oh my! It's a lot of stuff dumped in the sky. You think? February 3rd, about 2:30 on this Sunday 2019. So I'll be continuing to monitoring the dumping of chemicals in the sky on this Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday. And as you can see, that wide streak through the sky right there was the same as these small lines. The small lines blow apart into this wide line. And when it really blows apart, it spreads out like that. So you can see how they paint the sky pasty white with the small lines that spread out, I call splotches. And of course we have some clouds coming up on the horizon out of the north and the northwest, which is normal, blowing across the country from the west towards the east with the clouds, the jet stream. So obviously there's some geoengineering, which could be also weather warfare, going on. We don't know why they're doing it because they don't tell us. Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. We're being sprayed like we're bugs, but I don't think we're bugs. February 4th, Monday, about 11 o'clock. Looks like a lot of dumped chemicals pretty much all over the sky. None of this is clouds. You can see for sure just all this faint, whispery streaks, stuff blowing in the breeze. You can see all the straight lines. kind of ripples. So definitely not clouds. So what the heck are they dumping and why? This is serious business. Let me just do a 360. This is looking northeast. Plenty of stuff on top of the mountain there, here in the mountains of North Carolina. Looking off east, plenty of stuff dumped there. Way off in the far east is completely white. Locally, right above. Southeast, south. No doubt about it, west, southwest, west. See the streaks on top of the roof there? North. Panning overhead. Here's a big, intense line being sprayed as we watch right on top of these wires, if you can see it. Right in the middle of this video. Dumping chemicals. Brand new straight line there. So that's what they do. They drive back and forth, helter-skelter, and dump out all these chemicals. Why? How can this be good for we the people, the human race, animals, plants, bugs, everything? It can't. Rick Miracle reporting. February 5th, Tuesday. So I was looking out the front window of the house, and I noticed jet planes flying right after one after another. Here's one spraying right here. Another one spraying right there, if you can see them. Another one right there. You can see one was spraying right there. This one is still spraying. He's still spraying. This guy is still spraying. They're right in the midst of the stuff that's being dumped, if you can't see it. He's still going. Anyways, looks like most of what I see in the sky is sprayed chemicals. This guy's a little clearer right now. So is this guy. So why in the heck would they be dumping this much stuff on this Tuesday? Couple minutes after 4 p.m. Rick Miracle in the mountains of North Carolina with these planes, as you can see. The straight lines right there and right there, and this guy is still spraying there. This line here on top of the trees, and all of this stuff is dumped chemicals. Now that's a lot of stuff. Clouds off on the horizon, you can tell the difference. So they're just lining up, coming from this direction, flying this way. I'm watching one right there, and there's another one here continuing. And I bet if I look here, there'll be another one right after it, and another one right after it, and another one right after it, and another one right after it, just like you see here. What the heck are they doing? Video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. Oh my, what the heck are they dumping? with such serious intent. Here's a plane flying up here, dumping nothing, by the way. The center of this video, shining like a little diamond in the sky with the sun beaming off of it. Wait a minute, he just turned on the nozzle. He's starting to spray. Ever seen that Star Trek movie where these spaceships were just going back and forth, creating a gigantic cobweb in the sky so that the Starship Enterprise could not escape? That's what it reminds me of right now. Miracle reporting. February 5th, about 5:17. Absolutely incredible. I continue to see these planes streaking back and forth. There's 3 lines stacked upon one another, as you can plainly see. This guy here is right in the midst of these chemicals. Now think about it. When you're flying in a plane, don't you fly above any coverage? You're looking out the window and you're looking below you and you're seeing the clouds. You don't fly like this plane right smack dab in the middle of the white stuff in the sky that a lot of people would like to believe is clouds. It is not clouds. It's the stuff being sprayed by this jet you're watching and the line below it. So here's this guy, here's a line right below it. So they're parallel to each other non-stop today. And you can see what happens when they really blow apart is these long, fat, cigar-looking things. Here's another one, spraying. No matter where I turn, somebody is spraying with a vengeance today. It's like a real serious purpose to this. Kind of scary if you think about it. Why would they be so serious about dumping so much stuff in the sky? One after another. This guy over here is still spraying. So today, I guess if you just look off towards the east, they're just going to keep on coming. Unbelievable. This one up here is still spraying heavy. Be a big fat cigar like that one. When it blows apart, just like that. That's what that'll be. Just like this guy is doing right now as I'm watching. If you see between the trees, it'll turn into a big fat cigar like the one below it. It's a slow transformation, takes a couple minutes, but that will be that. And given enough time, it'll be like these big fat cigars I'm panning out. And eventually it'll paint the entire sky pasty white with chemicals. Think about it. Here's another one, just kicked it in. There he goes. Just started too, see that? It's not continuous. But it's sticking now. If you couldn't video it, personally I wouldn't believe it. What are they doing in your neighborhood? Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. Unbelievable spraying. Here's the one that just started. See, it just started there. He's busy dumping stuff in the sky now for our breathing pleasure. Probably detrimental to our health. Sinister, if you ask me. Has to be costing a ton of money. Why would they be doing that? 5th. Tuesday, about 5:45, 2019. Unbelievable. And here's a jet coming crossways to the material being dumped. Now think about it. Let me pan out. They're all coming from northeast towards southwest, flowing this way. I've been watching the jets. Look at this guy. He's just coming right across parallel to the line. What's up with that? And look how this stuff is falling apart in bunches. Unbelievable. You can see how it's a stubby end on that one. So they turn the nozzles off and turn the nozzles on. And look how it bunches up. However that stuff came out of the tank, it came out in clumps, as you can see. Here's a guy going this way. From the northeast to the southwest, while this guy's booking it across directly from the south towards directly to the north. Unbelievable. Can you believe it? This is just my snapshot of the sky. It goes on and on and on and on and across the whole country. It's like some weather was trying to come in here. Right above, that's weather. I know what clouds look like. But this stuff, no doubt about it. We're being sprayed like we're bugs. Can't be good for us. Miracle reporting. So you can see here in the mountains of North Carolina, they're dumping something into the sky. Are you paying attention to where you live? What are they dumping? And other anomalies, things going on, installation of more microwave towers and more wireless systems. I've got a bunch of clips I want to show in this video, but this one is Jeff Rentz and Dane Wigington talking about geoengineering is out of control.
Put this into context.
Let me pull back and look at the bigger picture. We've talked privately and on the program about this. We think that there is ample evidence to suggest, if not essentially confirm, that the weather engineering, the geoengineering of the planet's climate has gotten out of control, at least in significant realms. I don't know that they can ever take control of it again unless they just stop doing everything, which they're not going to do. Is it in your mind out of control? And if that's so, is that the Venus factor? Is it's just going to run away, and we're going to lose the whole planet?
Well, here's where the biggest variable comes into play. One that frontline climate and polar scientists are not willing to admit to. Scientists that are actually still calling for geoengineering to be deployed as if it hasn't been for the last 70 years.
Please.
So here's the biggest variable that no one is willing to contemplate. If we stopped, if all the atmospheric interventions stopped and the planet was allowed to respond on its own, no one, not me, not legions of climate scientists, no one knows how profound the planet's life support response will be. If we do not stop, we have enough data to know that on the current trajectory, yes, we are on track for what appears to be Venus syndrome, and people that have been trained to believe that such changes take millions of years. That is not the case in this scenario. Example I give over and over, obviously people die after they live a normal lifespan. That's normal. If you throw somebody off a 100-story building, they're going to die much quicker, and that's what we've done with the planet. So the bottom line is we won't be here much longer on the current course. And for those that still don't think that's real, and Jeff, I know you know this, or you do this all the time. You're in the front line gathering data from every direction. You know how immediate our situation is. Most people won't believe that until the store shelves empty out.
So both Dane Wigington, geoengineeringwatch.org, or Jeff Rentz, they've published a lot of videos on these topics and have websites. So there seems to be little doubt. We have a clear and present danger in our reality. And it just seems to me people need to wake up to it, and wake up to it quick. Here's February 8th and 9th, a couple videos I took of the dumping of chemicals and maybe biologicals into the sky. February 8th, Friday morning, about 8:30, 2019. We got a front coming through. Extremely windy out here. You can see the trees blowing. But we also have some heavy-duty, thick spray lines and apparent residue of chemicals in the sky, along with this, here's a little squirt. Along with these clouds coming through from the west. Looks like it's pretty much directly coming from the west. It's cold air. This looks like some of it's coming from southwest, northwest, west. But they are spraying apparently parallel to this front coming through, as you can see here. This is off towards the east. So why are they putting the chemicals in the sky mixing with this front coming through? Rick Miracle reporting, video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. February 8th, Friday, about 11, 2019, walked outside and said, oh my, the big X. Crisscrossing the sky with chemicals. No mistaking it. So a lot of this stuff you see in the sky, obvious, you can see the straight lines, is dumped chemicals. Everywhere you look, you can see the lines embedded in the white stuff up there. You want to believe is clouds, but you can see that it's not. Another white line. More evidence here. Fat white lines, skinny lines that blow in the breeze and spread apart. And a big X. So what are they putting in the sky here in the mountains of North Carolina? Apparently, I watch other people's videos. It's all over the country, all over the world. Something big is going on. What do you think? Are you concerned about them dumping stuff in the sky? Could I come into your living room and just start spraying some aerosol in the air that you're breathing? Would you get mad at me? Would you throw me out? Of course you would. So why don't people get upset with them spraying stuff in our sky? Boggles the mind. Rick Miracle reporting. February 8th. About 1:45 on this Friday, 2019. Just took a look outside. You can obviously see straight lines and dumped chemicals. Not clouds. So a lot of what we see in the sky is dumped chemicals, believe it or not. If that is true, which it appears to be, that's a lot of stuff dumped in the sky on you and me. Rick Miracle reporting on this Friday, windy out. Front coming through. And geoengineering, weather warfare seems to be going on. And an attack on humanity and all life on planet Earth. So it seems. February 8th, Friday, 2019. About 5 p.m. As you can see, one huge bomb of stuff dumped in the sky. FYI, as you can see, not continuous. You can see the stubby end there and a parallel line. So here's a smaller one right above this tree, but still quite intense in chemicals. And a fresh one above it, and he's still spraying over there. Center of this video. Spraying towards the tree. Here's a little squirt right here. But oh my, and you can see up here evidence of electromagnetic energy, ripples, in the chemicals, heavy metals I guess, dumped. They would have to be metals to see the ripples. So there you have it, you got a weather front coming through, but even in the weather front, under the clouds, you can see straight lines of chemicals. Under the clouds. You ever been in a plane and float under a cloud? Usually they take off from the airport and go above the weather, and then when they're landing, they go through it and below. But the sprayed stuff gets sprayed. It's probably drones. There's nobody in the planes, so they don't care about seeing. So on this Friday, obvious evidence of dumped spray lines, and you can see that it's clumping. So slurry, some kind of slosh or soup in big tanks with heavy metals and maybe biologicals, according to some research I've been doing. Just made a video on the legislative act, Geoengineering Act of 2017 in Rhode Island. It mentions all the stuff, including the possible use of nuclear particles, nuclear waste, biological particles, maybe biological weapons. We don't know because they don't tell us. We do know that apparently we're under attack. Some people are pursuing a global world order, and a lot of propaganda aimed at Christianity and other kinds of decency, wanting to bring us pansexualism and transgenderism and globalism. Part of what all the symbols of Satanism, all these isms. And we got sky spraying, huge blast of stuff right there in the sky. Rick Miracle reporting on this Friday evening in the mountains of North Carolina. Why are they spraying us like bugs? I'm not a bug. Are you a bug? February 9th, 2019. Saturday morning, about 13 minutes after 8 a.m. in the morning. About to take a look outside and see what I could see. And as you can see, a big straight line of, like a big fat cigar of sprayed chemicals in the sky. Looks like this stuff between the clouds, that's a cloud. That looks like clouds. Looks like sprayed stuff is painting everything pasty white with chemicals above the clouds. Here's some more spray lines. And you can see here's a big V. Obvious evidence of spray lines, sharp straight edges. So there you have it on this Saturday morning. Whoa, here's a couple long ones. No matter where I look. Was one below and one above. And another one crisscrossing it here. Stacking those spray lines up, dumping out those chemicals. Unbelievable. Except for the fact I've been watching it since 2005. So I suppose it is believable. Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. We're being sprayed like we're bugs, I keep saying. But I don't think we're bugs. Are you a bug? Here's one where they crisscross a big X. The Big X. Rick Marico reporting. In this next clip, Jeff Rentz mentions in his discussion with Dane Wigington the government warning about the electric grid going down and advising we the people, you and me, to stock up on supplies and be prepared to be without electricity for 6 months. And I must say, if they say 6 months, they must know something. And if they publish a warning, they must know something. And I would venture to bet it'll be a lot longer than 6 months. And within days of the grid going down, there'll be chaos, anarchy, and rioting and killing in the streets, part of this World War III revolution and an attack on humanity. But decide for yourself. This is some really ominous information. See this clip.
Worth of food. I want you to also remember what DHS warned us about. This is about 3 weeks ago now. The Department of Homeland Security warned all Americans to be prepared, that means with food and water and protection, etc., for no electricity for up to 6 months. Now, why would DHS issue that? They issued it one time, and then they dropped it. Why would they put out some kind of a... That's talk about alarmism. People could try and dismiss it as alarmism. They know something. Be prepared to be without electricity for 6 months. Are any of you out there prepared to be without electricity for 6 months? And you're the smartest audience in talk radio. It's really time to designate some of your rapidly dwindling disposable income into protection and preparedness for you and your loved ones. You've got to do it. They know things. EMP pulse, I don't know. Weather, certainly could be. Comet, meteorite, could be. But they know something. Something's coming. Something's bad coming. Go ahead, Dane.
Well, even aside from that, without even any of those elements, what we already know, we're in the proverbial car going 100 miles an hour and 10 feet from impact into a solid concrete wall. So no matter what happens at this point, if nothing else happens, impact is coming and it's close. And any notion that the power is going to turn back on after 6 months needs to be deeply reconsidered.
Well, Dane, hold on. 3 days after no power, what will the status of your town, Mr. and Mrs. America, be? Dane knows, many of you know, it's going to be murder, death, burning, looting, completely out of control. You think that thin line of police is going to answer a 9/11 call after 2 days without power? You better think again. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, this is important, exactly what you're stating. I mean, we have a culture that has been well trained and conditioned to not even contemplate realities that are absolutely inevitable at this point. And this is not to say that we shouldn't try, because if there's one leap we could take in the right direction, I know how many challenges we face, Jeff, and I certainly know this is what you do all the time, from Fukushima and how many other Fukushimas are we going to have when the grid's shut down and so forth. But if there's one single most important leap we could take in the right direction that even affects the nuclear situation, because they're destroying our atmosphere, they're destroying our natural protection from CMEs, coronal mass ejections. So if that happens, worst case Carrington event, we have nukes plant shut down everywhere. We can track that back to climate engineering also. So, but bottom line is, we can't begin to contemplate the miraculousness of Earth's life support systems, and to throw the wrench into them that the climate engineers have is absolutely the most insane endeavor ever launched by the human race. None of this is to mention the fact that every breath we take is toxic. You know that. Yeah.
It's suicidally insane. It's insanely suicidal. Not only are all the things Dane said crucially true, but the amount of breathable oxygen on average now in our cities is down to about 15-16%. It used to be 35%. it's dropping all the time. So we live in a toxic environment. We have to breathe toxic air in order to extract oxygen to continue living. We eat food full of toxins, allegedly, to give us the nutrition we need to stay healthy and completely prop up our immunological function. But we're eating toxic food. Now, most of you don't. You're wise. You stay away from it as much as you can. But look around you when you're out. Look at the people. Look at their body mass. Look at their shape. Look at their color. They're eating death, deadly food. It's not food. It's toxic product. And it is designed to take people down. And it is.
It certainly is. And again, on the inhaled particulates, most know that the aluminum is very toxic if it's ingested, but if it's inhaled, it is exponentially worse.
Right into the bloodstream.
Correct.
Goes into your brain, goes right past the blood-brain barrier. Where do you think all this dementia is coming from?
Well, certainly, at the toxic food you mentioned, we have a lot of sources, but mathematically speaking, the single greatest contaminant exposure is raining down through the air column from the climate engineering operations. Again, contemplate that 10 to 20 million tons of aluminum actually stated on the record by the climate engineers. It's blowing everywhere. There is nowhere to escape this. And Jeff, you brought up the declining atmospheric oxygen content, and that's a very good point that also connects back to climate engineering in many ways. I mean, obviously every gallon of hydrocarbon we burn is consuming oxygen. Aircraft, the amount of aircraft being used to deploy these operations, huge oxygen consumption. These particulates oxidize in the atmosphere, further consuming oxygen from every conceivable direction. I mean, we are literally on the fast track to extremely near-term planetary homicide.
As you can see, I stay pretty busy 7 days a week, every day of the month, every month of the year, since 2005, reading books, paying attention to press releases and research on the internet, magazines, talking to people, trying to figure out what's going on and who's behind it. And lately, in the news, has been a lot of discussion and suggested legislation to curtail anti-Semitism and also including Zionism. So what is Zionism, and who is behind the dumping of chemicals in the sky and some other technological weapons they're using against we the people? So I was listening to True News, and they were discussing the Israel and Zionism. So listen to this True News clip. Again, this is an eclectic collection of videos I put together, and I think together it might help us to make sense of the who, what, and why.
And our viewers, they every time we bring up Zionism, oh, there goes Rick talking about Israel again. And look, Zionism is not in Numbers, Deuteronomy. It's not in the
ism, right?
It's ism. It's a political movement that has no conscience to it. It doesn't care if they hurt, destroy, kill innocent. They're a political movement.
That's right. And according to Joe Biden, you don't even have to be Jewish to be a
I have that
Zionist.
clip.
Of course not.
We'll play that one.
Hagee's proof of that.
Look,
right?
it's not Abraham, Isaac.
No.
That's not what we're talking about.
If
You've been brainwashed.
if people would just do some homework. All right, Theodore Herzl, the father of Zionism.
Remember, I showed you that what was on the 700 Club, right?
The early Zionists said, we have no need of a Messiah. We're tired of waiting for a Messiah. We don't need a Messiah. We will be our own Messiah.
That's right.
That's what Israel's all about. Jews saying, we will be our own Messiah. We don't need God and we don't need a Messiah. We will build our own Zionist empire. That's exactly what they were trying to do 2,000 years ago. It is why they crucified Jesus Christ.
Isn't it literally what Satan...
I know I can't explain everything in one video, even if the video is 5 hours or 10 hours long. It's just too vast of a topic. But apparently, as many people are aware, it seems that President Trump is working with Israel and the Zionists and the globalists to bring about a global world order. And a lot of people just don't want to believe it. But they're using 5G, microwave transmission systems, artificial intelligence, propaganda in the news. A lot of people don't know what to believe. But apparently, listen to what True News says about Israel probably being behind the technologies to advance this global world order and working with the Trump administration. This is not me. This is what they're saying. I just research and report.
That alone gives you power going out for another 50 years.
Rick, to piggyback what you and Matt said about this filling the vacuum almost. Remember at the beginning, when you first went to Barcelona, you came back saying, well, where is the United States in this? Why isn't President Trump talking about artificial intelligence, the global brain, autonomy? These things they're coming in like 10 years and going to change the country, beyond the point of recognition. Could it be that it was the Israelis and that faction that brought the technology, the knowledge of it, but also the execution of it in warfare, in the cyber realm, to the Trump administration and said, we can fill this void. We can fill this dearth of knowledge that you don't have. Because what have we seen now? For the first time, I think I saw in a statement, President Trump's administration talked about the fourth industrial revolution and bringing in a 5G, an AI initiative about 2 weeks ago. We're about 3 years into this now, and they're finally talking about artificial intelligence. Yes. But one country that is at the head of this, based on programs we've done before, is Israel.
Absolutely. Hey, I do want to state this. As far as the global Zionist movement, Israel's not running it. Israel is a project. It's just a working project.
Or a base. Could it be the base?
Okay, it's just a project, okay? The Zionist movement is run out of the United States of America.
Yes.
The Shah of Iran said that. Yeah. Remember?
The power is in the USA. The Zionist power is in America. Okay, I read something today in a book. I haven't shared this with you. One of our team members told me about this book. It's how the Zionists break down and destroy societies. Okay, they use sexual revolution to destroy a society. This is what's been done to America. The sexual revolution was a Zionist operation to break down American culture.
The families, pornography,
yes, to destroy it. Absolutely. So one example of what they did, and the book gives a specific date, 2002. The Israeli army made occasionally they'll make forays into the West Bank and Gaza, go in and really rough up the Palestinians and flex their muscles, kill a bunch of Palestinians and so anyhow, they were doing that, and they had invaded Gaza. The Israeli military took over the Palestinian television stations.
Oh yeah,
and they immediately switched their programming to all pornography.
Really?
Yes, to shock the Palestinian people.
Wow.
To break down their resistance, to break down their society. They bombarded the Palestinians day and night with pornography so that the parents had to hide their children's eyes from TV sets. Right? There's no wonder the Palestinians hate and detest them. Okay, so this is what they've done to America. This is why millions of Americans are hooked to pornography. The Zionists have been bombarding this country for decades with sexual perversion. It's just one facet of the assault against America.
Some other interesting news. David Icke has been to Australia 8 or 9 times in the last 20 years, 15 years, doing his lecture tours. If you don't know who David Icke is, go watch some of his videos or get his books. I've made videos on his books in my Freemasonry and Satanism series. But apparently, a trip planned to Australia for 2019, planned months ago, paid for, lots of expense. But he was in LA and apparently about only hours, 4 days, maybe 3 days, prior to him leaving LA for Australia to begin his tour. He was notified by the government that his visa permit to enter Australia was canceled. And he discusses the people behind it. And, you know, a lot of people think the conversation about Zionism is anti-Semitism, which is not. And a lot of people have accused David Icke of being an anti-Semite, which is the reason they're saying they banned him from going to Australia. So watch this David Icke video. And all these videos I'm showing, I encourage people to watch them in their entirety. And again, be aware that, you know, I watch these videos by many different people every single day, every month, every year, going almost 15 years. So I try to keep an open mind and try to figure out WTH, what the heck is going on? And it seems we're getting closer to understanding, but that probably motivates the powers that be, whether you want to call them the Illuminati, secret societies, high-level Freemasons, Rosicrucian, Theosophist Society, Church of Satan, whoever is behind this global world order pursuit. And apparently, obviously, it doesn't include all Jewish peoples, and it's not exclusively the territory of Jewish peoples to be involved in this criminal activity and attack on humanity. But again, I can say things and go on and on and on, but it's best for you to watch the video and watch the entire video and make up your own mind. That's why I put these videos together, to try to give us a hint what, why, and who.
So I've been writing now for 30 years that the plan was coming to delete freedom of speech from the population, for reasons I'll come to in a second. And they say, no, that's not true. No. And then they do it. I've been writing for most of that 30 years that there is an ultra-Zionist cabal. No, not Jewish people, not a Jewish plot. An ultra-Zionist cabal who actually have contempt for Jewish people, if the truth be told, and use them as a smokescreen for their own ends. I've been writing that there is this ultra-Zionist cabal which has enormous influence over events and governments, which is vastly, massively in excess of their number. For instance, the Jewish population in totality of the world is 0.2%. Yeah, I did say that, 0.2%. And the vast majority of that 0.2% are not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about a tiny, tiny number of 0.2%. And not just them either. There's a whole global web that involves endless other people from different cultures, races, and backgrounds. And then you look at Australia and you see that the totality of the Jewish population of Australia is 0.4%. And again, the vast majority of that number will not be doing or have the agenda of that tiny, tiny few I'm talking about. And what do people say? That's rubbish. That's an anti-Semitic trope. Two people, basically, out of 25 million Australians. A Zionist lawyer called Kate Ashmore and a bloke called Abramovich, who runs something called the Anti-Defamation Commission, which, like all anti-defamation organisations, goes around defaming people. Those two are overwhelmingly the reason why 25 million Australians have been banned, because they have too, from having the choice to hear what I've got to say.
I do want to get in all the videos I took in February, so I'm doing just a minute or two at a time. Here are a couple short clips for February 11th, 2019. The powers that be dumping chemicals in the sky. Why? What? Who? February 11th, Monday, a little after 5 p.m. It's been overcast, but it looks like it's clearing up, and as you can clearly see, a straight squirt of stuff dumped in the sky. And if I pan around, there's a little straight line. Stuff blowing in the breeze right there that's not a cloud. You can tell it's blowing apart like strings. So if you look and you can tell like that, you can see that there's a lot of dumped chemicals. Here's some radiation ripples. Straight lines you can see. So a lot of what you see in the sky is 11th, almost 5:30 on this Monday. Looked outside and I see another jet streaking through the air, dumping chemicals. You know, if you look at it and you think about it, it's actually kind of scary. What are they dumping and why? It's not incidental stuff they're dumping. And by the way, look how much they're dumping. These are clouds. No mistaking it. This stuff in the sky is dumped chemicals. I've been paying attention for years. Even ripples you can see in it, electromagnetic energies. What are they dumping? All around this plane flying right now. Spray. Why my camera keeps conking out. Guess I gotta get a new one. But oh, lordy lordy. What are they dumping? See these straight lines like this one? Here's another big thick one. You can clearly see it's not a cloud. That straight line going this way and the one right above it. And if you didn't know what you were looking at, you would just think all of these straight lines is part of clouds, unless you were focusing and looking. There's more right there. You can see it spraying. It's falling apart like dust. And there's a front coming over the mountains. This guy's still spraying away. Modern jet engines do not leave big lines like that. They reuse any exhaust. This is clearly chemicals, and you can also tell because the whole sky's painted pasty white that stuff that's not clouds. There's clouds for you. Anyways, there's a big thick squirt right there running this way. So this stuff blows apart and becomes what you see, painting the entire sky pasty white. Rick Miracle reporting in the mountains of North Carolina. WTH is going on. February 11th, 5:55. Looked outside and said, oh my, 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. Just stacked up on top of each other. One behind the tree, one right there, another one there, another one there. So these jets are just coming behind one another and just streaking and dumping stuff into the sky. Makes you wonder, are we gonna die? Here's one spraying as I watch. If we can get him in the focus, here he is. Here's one coming over the horizon. Notice they dump different quantities of stuff. Makes you wonder what they are dumping. This guy's dumping some really thick stuff. Focus! There we go. Wow. He's not fooling around. This guy's still working. Lordy, lordy. You can see the jet plane beaming in the setting sun. Time for a new camera. Focus! There's one way over there. Spray line. Right on top of that center. There we go. See the spray line right on top of the dark stuff in the center of this video? So no matter where you look, they're dumping stuff in the sky. Here comes another one right out of the same direction as the last one. Plenty of action here, folks. Rick Miracle reporting on this Monday from the mountains of North Carolina. So what do you think? You think the dumping of chemicals in the sky is a benevolent thing? They're really trying to save us from global warming? Human-caused pollution in the sky? Or is it something more ominous, something we need to pay attention to? I have so many documents, I have so much research, it almost boggles my mind. I can't share it all. It's just too much, too fast every day. So I don't even try. I just make these videos and put some pieces together. One thing is the continued satanic symbolism we see everywhere. Public places, all these sculptures and other things. Here's one here, satanic sculpture installed in the Illinois State House. So I encourage you to go look this up and read it. So they got this sculpture that's obvious, a satanic sculpture with a serpent around it. And you can even see on the plaque there, it's the serpent head on the star, and knowledge is the greatest gift. And I'm thinking, you know, Adam and Eve and the apple and the fall, cast out of the Garden of Eden. So why would they be coming up with all these satanic symbols? The satanic display at the Illinois State House Rotunda. They call it Starfire. Interestingly enough, I'm reading this book. I'll be making a video on it shortly. Someday the human mind will be the ultimate weapon. Someday is here, Starfire, Ingo Swann, the shattering best-selling novel of the world's first psychic war. Oh my, like I said, I've been reading this. There's a couple pages here that'll blow you away. It's been blowing me away. So So I have all this material in this particular press release. Here's another picture here just to show you what we're dealing with. Look at this thing on the lawn with this devil head, the cross, the greatest gift is knowledge, the serpent snake. In 2014, the Satanic Temple installed a holiday display in front of the Michigan Capitol. The snake and the cross form a symbol of the Satanic cross, which is based on the alchemical symbol of sulfur. Why sulfur? Because the Bible says that hell smells of sulfur. Next to the display was a warning to potential vandals. 2015, the Satanic Temple unveiled a massive statue of Baphomet, the devil, in Detroit. I've talked about that a lot. This is the statue that they unveiled in Detroit. So there's so much here. Like I said, I'm overwhelmed with evidence of the satanic symbolisms everywhere. And I have another video clip from True News discussing a satanic plot.
Exactly what they were trying to do 2,000 years ago.
Yes.
It is why they crucified Jesus Christ.
Isn't that literally what Satan did? We revolted from God?
Yes.
He wanted to be like God.
That's right.
Create his own.
Well, Jesus said, "Your father is the devil."
Yes.
We're not trying to rewrite the Bible or any. We're just trying to lay out the facts for the body of Christ, because at the end, that's what we want. We want to share the truth.
Zionism is, in my view, and I've been at this for 20 years, and I have studied and researched and interviewed people and I've done more than most of the people who sit out there and criticize me. All right, and I have come to the conclusion that Zionism is the evil force that takes over the world in the last days and persecutes the body of Christ and makes war against the saints. Jesus said, he told his disciples, they will drag you into the Islamic mosque.
No.
He said they will drag you into the Shinto shrines.
No.
He said they will drag you into the Buddhist temples.
Nope. Not even the Mormon temples.
He said they'll take you into the Moose Club.
No. They'll take you into
The synagogues. We were warned by Jesus Christ what's going to happen to us and who's going to do it.
And he was saying that was happening in the last days.
Yes. And it's not Muslims that are going to kill us. It's Jews.
Again, I say, you can't make this stuff up. But you can look it up. And you can go outside and look up at the sky. Do some homework. These microwave transmitters, 5G. Would you stick your head in a microwave oven? Of course you wouldn't. So here's another clip with Jeff Rentz and Dane Wigington about some strange weather anomalies going on all over the planet.
His name a little later tonight. We'll get it up there in guests and bookmark these. They're all at geoengineeringwatch.org. It's just extraordinary data and backed up, as he said, with link after link. They're deep, 2-3 deep. This van is really something. In Switzerland, there's a VW van, and it looks almost like it's been frosted with cake icing or something. It's bizarre. I've never seen that before.
On the ice storm scenario, there have been many unprecedented ice storms. I'm trying to find one.
That is really something.
For example, Slovenia, when
another ice storm hit Saudi Arabia, 2015. Yeah, there's another one. Crazy.
So if your listeners search ice storm or Slovenia ice storm, They were absolutely devastated by 4 to 6 inches thick of an ice storm that leveled forests, infrastructure, towers, and Slovenia had shown some resistance to power structure policy, EU policy, and so forth, and they were almost immediately slaughtered with this ice storm in 2014. Another one came shortly after that. This is weather warfare is the crown jewel of the power structure. The weapon by which they can devastate countries without those countries ever even knowing they were under attack.
And let me say this real quick. The military some years ago announced that their goal was to control the weather by 2025. That's typical deception. They were already on top of it. That's just to misdirect you so you don't think what's going on around you is controlled. They announced it long ago. They've been there. Go ahead. I'm sorry. 2025 is a joke.
That's a point. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And that makes people think, oh, this is at least somewhere off on the horizon. It couldn't be further from the truth. And when you have environmental groups like the ETC group in 2011, I believe, passed a global moratorium on geoengineering. And a lot of people said, oh, good, gee, I don't have to worry about that. That was nothing but smoke and mirrors. The ETC group bought, sold, and paid for, just like the Sierra Club, just like Greenpeace. So they put these smoke and mirrors resolutions up that pacify populations, just like you mentioned on the 2025 date. That means they've already been at it for 50 years prior to.
Sure.
So people really, really need to wake up and understand these processes are real. And on the chemical ice nucleation, there are lab tests in some of our articles. We have the engineered winter section on the top toolbar. In several articles, we have a short 20-second video lab test of chemical ice nucleating elements being put into a vessel of water, and it freezes that vessel instantly in front of your face. So people need to remember their first aid kit with the cold pack in it, Jeff. You mix endothermic reacting materials together in that pack, instant ice. You can sit there 20 years and you can have ice instantly. So we need to consider these processes. We all know about them, but people need to put this into context.
Like I said earlier, these advanced technologies, artificial intelligence, AI, integrated with 5G, microwave transmissions, they've been doing a lot of work to be able to control humanity, even microchipping people, implanting devices in people without them being aware, targeted individuals. There's so much material on YouTube. What are we to believe? So here's another one video, short clip by, I couldn't figure out what her name was, but the website on YouTube is Make Humanity Great Again. And she warns us about 5G. Take a look at this.
Hi everybody, it is July 10. I just got this link from a subscriber who left it under one of my 5G videos. California passed SB 649, an unconstitutional bill that forcibly exposes neighborhoods to constant hazardous 4G, 5G microwave radiation. SB 649 would dramatically increase California residents' exposures to pulsed radio frequency microwave radiation. Over 110 California cities entered their formal opposition to SB 649 into public record prior to the vote. But, well, we know those quote-unquote elected officials are fascists, working for corporations, and in this case, working for the telecommunications industry. Listen to this. The Senate bill was passed Wednesday, a highly contentious bill. The bill will enable placement of powerful microwave radiation antennas called small cells on utility poles, street lamps, traffic lights, and street signs throughout California neighborhoods, as well as refrigerator-sized associated power equipment. On sidewalks, you will be walking right through incredibly dangerous frequencies, 5G, millimeter waves, military frequencies, frequencies that are used for crowd control. They induce so much pain that you want to run away. That's 5G. So
I believe all these things are connected. These strange fires in California and many other places around the world, and people witnessing strange things like metal melting and beams, like laser beams coming from the sky. And apparently they have advanced technologies with these frequencies that they can control and energies, like in the situation of 911 in the Twin Towers and even Building 7 with Judy Wood's videos. You can go look up online. But apparently they can dissolve concrete and metal and can bring about destruction, the collapsing of bridges and dams. Look at this Deborah Traveris video.
This is what we're talking about. We're talking about using weather weapons to attack states, cities, counties, and our homes. This is what we're talking about.
Wow.
And when you look at resilient plans, I want you to think about it like this. And I really appreciate people that listen to the broadcast and actually contribute, going to local meetings and seeing for themselves what is happening. And this was an absolute brilliant definition of resiliency. And the resiliency plans that are also adopted in all of our cities. Again, type in your city, followed by resilient plans. And resilient plans that have been adopted in all of our communities worldwide. Did you know what resiliency means? This is what resiliency means. Resiliency equals repetitive loss through weather weapons, which will require all of us to retreat into mandatory smart cities. Cities that are built upon the Internet of Things, built upon wireless everything, frequencies of death to all living things. This is what resiliency means.
So Deborah is having that conversation with Bill Deagle. He's been around a long time, a scientist. I've listened to him for years, and Deborah. The warning signs are clear. So anyways, here's another clip from the conversation between Deborah Traveris and Bill Deagle. And like I said, on all these videos, write down the title or whatever, look them up, watch them in their entirety.
Categorize this only in California because we are being flooded now, and it's wars by flooding. This is a war flooding event. Make no mistake. Weapons are being used, and it is to create worldwide a situation that is going to require the complete rebuilding of all our foundational infrastructure. Because I'm going to tell you right now about the document that tells us that. And the title of this article has the document embedded in it. And the title of the document is Another Looming Climate Disaster, Dam Collapses. Another looming climate disaster, dam collapses. Now I'm going to read some of this and we're going to talk about this because this is what we all face worldwide. So they talk about specifically in our location here in California that many of the major dams in California are 5 times more likely to flood due to global warming. A new study has found that possibly global warming will lead to overtopping of the dams and catastrophic failures that threaten and create costly repairs and evacuations. Now, they're talking certainly about the dam, the Oroville Dam, that nearly collapsed. It goes on to say that means Californians can expect disasters like the Oroville Dam, which overflowed channels and failures in 2019 after days of flooding, had filled the state's reservoirs to 85% of their capacity, leading to the evacuation of more than 180,000 people and losses of upwards of $300 million. I'm going to pause right now. We have a YouTube up on stopthecrime.net. It's
13th. Looked outside and said, oh my, there they go again. A jet plane spraying and another one right behind it. One on top of another, as you can see with the dual lines. And if I look around in the sky, I see plenty of evidence of dumped chemicals, not clouds. All that is dumped chemicals. Can you believe it? You better believe it. It's true. I do not see clouds in the sky. I see a lot of white stuff, but it's not clouds. Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. Happy Valentine's Day. February 14th, about 9:06 in the morning. So what does the government tell us on Valentine's Day? I guess they want to tell us they want to spray us like we're bugs. Because that's what's happening. You can see that was a long sprayed line that's very thick right there. So all the stuff they're spraying spreads across in the sky, painting the sky pasty white with chemicals. Looking off towards the north and towards the east. So no doubt about it, they're crisscrossing, literally, a big cross there, X, and parallel lines. Crisscrossing the sky. Here's a new one coming up. Just turned the nozzle on, that son of a gun. Right there. He's spraying away right there. So what the heck are they dumping on we the people on Valentine's Day, 9 o'clock in the morning, 2019? They're spraying us like we're bugs. That says I love you all over it. Not. It says population reduction. Destroying the environment. Look at these jets. Somebody's paying for this. Wouldn't you be a bit surprised to know that it's you and your taxes and your government and the foreign-owned Federal Reserve? Population reduction underway in a community near you. Is this the case? Rick Miracle reporting. February 14th. About almost 10:30 on this Thursday, 2019. Looking off to my camera just dies. I guess I gotta go buy another one. Anyways, looking off towards the east. As you can plainly see, lots of spray lines of chemicals dumped into the sky. Can't be good for we the people. Spraying us on Valentine's Day, February 14th. That was off towards the east-southeast. This is northeast. So plenty of evidence. Actually, I don't see any clouds. Everything I see appears to be sprayed stuff into the sky. So that's a lot of sprayed stuff, courtesy of the government. There's a plane spraying live there. One right there. You can't see it in the middle of this video. But this one is, so they're live all around me dumping chemicals. What are they doing in your neighborhood? Why are they doing this? What does this cost? I'm just one spot in the mountains of North Carolina. You can see the residue. It's not clouds. You can see the jet plane spraying it. You can see the long sprayed lines, sharp edges. We're being sprayed like we're bugs. Who would do such a thing? It's kind of insidious, sinister, maybe satanic. Rick Miracle reporting. February 14th. Just took a look outside. You got a jet coming out over this tree, spraying a very thick line of stuff. Intentional dumping. Normal exhaust from jets do not emit this kind of stuff. And you can see it looks like he just switched tanks because they do run out. And then it stops for a second and they gotta start again. So what are they dumping? And of course these sprayed lines spread apart, blowing in the breeze, painting the sky with white chemicals, as you can see. I'll do a 360. Now that's a lot of stuff to have been dumped into the sky intentionally. Don't you think? How can this be good for we people? To me, obviously, it can't. Are we under attack? It seems so. Rick Miracle reporting. Another man I watch is Max Egan. He talks about a lot of this deception going on, planning for this global world order, deceiving we the people. And he discusses 5G. Take a look at this clip.
When you look at the G, you've got to think of it as just generation. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. With the fifth generation, it's actually a whole new ballgame. It's not using the same technology. They're switching to military-grade millimeter wave technology. And when you look at this technology, I mean, if you go and look at DARPA reports, come and look at some of the patents that the United States military has put out on what they can do with psychological weapons, all sorts of things, crowd control, active denial, anything you can think of. This is what they can do with 5G. So any type of military application you can think of which has an electromagnetic base, they can do with 5G. And they're putting this out blanket across the population. So when you couple this with everything else they're doing, the nanotech that's in everything, you want to get into that. Just the fact that people have got mobile phones so everybody's tracked, they can say, well, there's Dan Dix, and they can target you for active denial specifically, and they can affect your health, all sorts of things. I mean, anything you can think of, they can do with 5G. All you've got to go, like I said, is go and look at the DARPA patents. They put it all out there themselves to tell you.
So what sort of experiments have they done, or have they, and do they even know what some of the adverse health effects may or may not be from this?
Well, that's the thing. They're not running any health tests. Even you can look at Ted Wheeler or Tom Wheeler's speech, who said from the FCC said we're not waiting for the standards. They're just going to roll it out. But really, when you look at it, I mean, it boils water. So we've got a lot of water in us. What's it going to do to that? You're going to see an increase in skin cancers, in all sorts of health problems. It affects the food. So how are we going to have true organic food if you've got this millimeter wave everywhere, which is penetrating all the food we're buying in the supermarkets even? So it affects all life forms. It penetrates all this stuff, and it's a very, very dangerous way because it's a millimeter wave.
Well, speaking of all life forms and the fact that this has to control everything on the planet, does it play into the Internet of Things, and is that something that's eventually going to be connected to 5G?
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons that they're saying we need it, because of the Internet of Things, because the enormous amount of bandwidth that this is going to use. You know, if you've got people performing all these transactions all the time and everything's got an IP address, everything you pick up, and you're not using tellers anymore, it's all automatic. It's going to take an enormous amount of bandwidth. So that's the excuse that they're using to roll it out. But, you know, I look at it, and the health aspects and everything, what this is going to do to the body, there's underlying ulterior motives. You know, we're being led in a certain direction with all this. And when you look at the whole transhumanist agenda and how they want to merge us with machines and all that sort of stuff, with 5G, you're going to find all sorts of health problems people are developing. It's going to be a lot harder to do things in this crumpled old shell. And please transfer me over into one of these. You can see where they'd be able to lead it with people. You know, a lot of...
Oh my. So what can we do? Seriously, what should we do? I believe we need to do something. So here's another clip with Dane Wigington and Jeff Rentz discussing what people can do.
And all the rest. Now, I don't want to leave your listeners certainly in a catatonic state with this dire data. Again, no matter how dark the horizon, if we stand together, and this is where it involves all of us, because too many people want to sit in the sideline and think someone else is going to move the ball in the field.
Of course.
It's up to all of us. Every single geoengineeringwatch.org article ends with hyperlinks that lead to very detailed activist suggestions, what you can do to help, how you can help us to sound the alarm. We provide links at geoengineeringwatch.org. It's on the upper left of the homepage to, for example, our 20-page fact and photo summary booklet. I know you know what that is, Jeff. You should have some, I think, still.
I've got one or two left in the car. I'd give them away.
I'll get you caught up on that.
Yeah.
But those links can be shared. There's full PDF links on the Geoengineering Watch homepage. You can share that from your home computer for free. You don't have to leave your home. Find groups, organizations, and individuals that would care if they knew. And Jeff, here's an example. I was just on the phone with our lead attorney on the East Coast, not long, 5 minutes before we got on your show here, and we are trying to contact one of the major shareholders for PG&E. We're trying to contact their counsel that is going to take unimaginable losses because PG&E is going bankrupt because of the fires. And what is the core causal factors of those fires? Climate engineering. Your listeners that don't understand why that's so, we don't have time to go into it, but search on the top toolbar, geoengineeringwatch.org, engineering wildfires. Most key core causal factor, climate engineering. So is PG&E just taking the fall for a template for unprecedented wildfires that was absolutely positively most directly linked to climate engineering? The incendiary dust that's falling on everything, the cutting off of the hydrological cycle, more dry lightning, toxic soils, which kills the trees from the bottom up, destroyed ozone layer, killing the trees from the top down, all of those related to climate engineering. So we're trying, and this is what your listeners can do from home. Be creative. We're playing chess. We have to play well. Think of someone that's a potential ally, like this major shareholder group, that if they become an ally in the fight against climate engineering because they're about to take a major loss because of what climate engineering did, they become a powerful ally.
Yeah, gotcha. Interestingly, PG&E is listing debts of over $50 billion. Now, how did a public utility end up $50 billion in debt?
Another popular character out there is Elon Musk. He's telling us this 5G, all these microwave transmitters, the wide bandwidth, is going to be combined with AI, artificial intelligence. They're going to be able to control us and so much more. And apparently they can cause people to drop dead, heart palpitations, get sick. But listen to Elon Musk and see if your alarm buttons go on.
You know, they need 5G to get artificial intelligence perfected. Listen to this. This is Elon Musk.
So I think if we can effectively merge with AI by improving that the neural link between your cortex and your digital extension of yourself, which already, like I said, already exists, just has a bandwidth issue. And then effectively, you become an AI human symbiote, and if that then is widespread with anyone who wants it can have it, then we solve the control problem as well. We don't have to worry about some sort of evil dictator AI, because kind of we are the AI collectively. So it already exists.
Elon Musk, the well-known, popular billionaire. Guess what he's going to do? They're going to put 12,000 satellites into orbit with microwave transmitters, wireless systems. Think about it. See this clip. So what do you believe? 5G, dangerous or not? The experts tell us. So anyways, apparently Jack Cruz, a well-known doctor and lecturer, many videos on YouTube, talking to Luke Story, another popular character, talking about the dangers of 5G. See this clip.
I talked to the kids about what was going on in their world. And they told me, all of them, like my friends, they're totally addicted.
Wow.
They would all pick their phones. That none of the kids are sleeping either. That's the real concern. Like I talked to Stone, I talked to my own kids. My daughter told me this 2 years ago. This really bothered me. One of her best friends in high school used to sleep with the iPhone under the pillow.
Oh.
Well, guess what? The kid wound up dropping out of school. My daughter no longer is friends with her. I will not let her hang out with her anymore. And the reason why, this kid's personality has changed. Like, so I knew this kid when the kid was normal. Now the child's brain has changed. And now we know, Luke, how this happens. You're going to hear about this tomorrow at my talk. But I'm going to share with you how I made this prediction. I made this prediction in 2011. Remember the two astronauts, the two brothers, the Kellys?
Mm-mm.
Two astronauts, identical twins. One went up to space, one didn't. They started talking about doing this experiment in 2011. So I made the prediction to my members. I said, if they do this and keep one guy on the ground and put one guy up, the guy that goes up is going to get hypermethylated. His DNA is going to become hypermethylated. Remember, the only thing that changed is the environment. And I warned all my members that when he goes up to space, that's going to mimic a 5G world. Why? Everything in the ISS is 5G. It's all blue lit, all the communication stuff. He was only up there for 340 days.
In the craft you're talking about?
In the ISS. And Scott Kelly came back, was last year, and all the papers are out. He's hypermethylated.
Wow.
So how did Jack know? Well, guess what? Melanopsin dysfunction causes hypermethylation. Why? Because it destroys the photoreceptors in your body. What's the number one photoreceptor that the vegans need to pay attention to? B12. B12 acts as a photoreceptor in humans.
That's interesting. I just got my labs done and my B12 was low. I'm like, what the hell? I ate a lot of red meat.
LA.
Wow.
Now you know why. And see, this is the thing. You're getting a little slice of what the farm is going to be like. So when you bring my labs...
Well, there's some new research that shows this microwave radiation, which includes cell phones, cell phone towers, portable phones and your Wi-Fi router, that when you're exposed to this at high levels on a chronic basis, it is a mitochondrial poison. It will sabotage your mitochondria. So I'm sure most of you have heard about the connection, the correlation of the cell phones to cancer. We know people who got brain tumors from doing this, and maybe some of you out there have either had that or know people who have. But I think in some ways that is a red herring. It actually causes more harm than good, because most of us don't know a person who's gotten brain cancer from using their cell phone, and we know everyone that uses their cell phone. So does it, it certainly will increase the risk, but it's a relatively minor one. That's not the main problem here. The main problem is it's a mitochondrial poison. And how does it do that? Well, it resonates with your cell frequencies, and it generates essentially free radicals. And what's the mechanism? Through a reactive nitrogen species called peroxynitrate. And this causes more hydroxyl free radicals than elevated iron levels. So there's hundreds and hundreds of papers showing this. Hardly anyone appreciates the mitochondrial molecular biological connection to exposure of these. This is not a thermal connection. And right now, many of you watching this probably can recall. If you can't, you just go in there and you'll find it. That was a common practice, was to use x-rays for children's feet when they went to the shoe store to get new shoes so they can get a good fit. X-rays are ionizing radiation. We now understand and know that causes damage. Microwave radiation, and it's not done. I mean, it hasn't been done for decades. And you'd be foolish. You'd probably get fined or go to jail if you did that on a regular basis. It's just against the law. But similarly, we're going to, hopefully in 10, 20, 30 years from now, hopefully sooner, we'll understand this is a similar type of process. Now, it's not ionizing radiation. This is not going to destabilize and damage your DNA directly. It does it indirectly through damaging the mitochondria. Just like x-rays, you can't see them. You can't feel them. It doesn't generate heat. Really, the only conventional assessment of cell phone pathology being done is the thermal effects. In other words, if you put it really close to your head for a long time, it will cause a gradual heat in the surrounding tissue, and that causes some damage, but it's nowhere near the damage that the microwave radiation causes. So there are devices that you can get. This happens to be called a TES 593 meter. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to change the units to the common units that are typically used. It comes with a variety of different units. It always measures the same thing, but different units. So we have milliwatts per watt, and we have watts per centimeter squared, which is probably the standard measurement in the United States of microwave radiation. So this gives us an objective readout. And you'll notice that it's fluctuating because the microwave radiation from cell phones locally, Wi-Fi routers that's in this building, and cell phone towers locally are dispersed. They're digital signals, so there's not a continuous analog signal. It's pulsed. So you can see it's ranging from 0.5, 0.7, 0.7, 0.6, 0.4. The meter will allow me to get a max, but I just want to see the range. So we're looking about between 0.4 and 0.7. Is the range. Well, 0.9, we've got a 0.9, I went to 0.9. So you can see this. So that's what we call the ambient, okay? I am so concerned after I did this analysis that I don't hold my phone anymore. I look at this as a hot potato, and I use a selfie stick to hold my phone, and I'm hoping and encouraging you will do this too. These are only $10. And the best way, well, let me measure this first. So we'll put the phone next to it, and it's on now, and you can see it went from 0.7. The phone isn't, I'm not making a phone call, but it's up to 0.9 was the highest, and now it's up to 6. Okay, now it's on, and watch what happens when I put it here. So it's up to 23, 20.5. This is right on, up here it's up to, up here, this is the antenna's right here, right? So I measure it, 55, 35, 114, 89, 76, 61, 70, 80. Okay, folks, 100 times higher than when I'm calling. Now,
so let me sum it up. Geoengineering, weather control, population reduction, an attack on Christianity, Zionism, Israel, all the weirdness going on. 5G, weird weather, fires, bridges collapsing, apparently threats of dams collapsing, and this pursuit of a global world order and the request from Israel to the U.S. government to pass some legislation so that people can't talk about Israel, Jewish people, or Zionism, who appear to be the perpetrators behind all these things I just showed, and the dumping of stuff in the sky, and electromagnetic transmissions and all kinds of other advanced weapons and propaganda and mind control and targeting individuals, microchipping children. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been looking into this stuff since 2005, reading books and paying attention to press releases and research material and magazines. And of course, we all remember 9/11. So when I turned a big 0 birthday in 2005, I made it my life's pursuit to try to figure out WTH, what the heck is going on. And what really got me going was when a friend of mine from New Mexico, Santa Fe, pointed out the dumping of chemicals in the sky while I was on vacation in Costa Rica. When I flew back to Miami and I looked up at the sky, I swear I thought it was nuclear rockets flying to America to blow us up. That's what they look like, all those planes and those big white plumes. And I'd seen a lot of rocket launches. I lived in Cocoa Beach, Melbourne for 20 years. I think I've seen every single shuttle launch until the one that blew up. I saw both of the rockets that blew up, the debris and the thing happening in the sky. So there is something going on. And I'll end this video suggesting you go watch those videos I showed you short clips of and look at other material. But it does seem like we need to do something and get more serious about this. It seems like it's a freight train coming right at us. You know, a freight train that's moving right along, and it seems like it doesn't have any brakes, and nothing's going to stop it. And it promises to be a really bad day for we the people and planet Earth if we don't do something, if we don't say something, and including praying to God, because what else can you do? They're using Satanism and some kind of fallen angel spirits and all that. Hard to believe, I agree. There's a lot of people promoting the Galactic Federation and the Anunnaki aliens and a pole shift and Planet Nibiru and the Zetas and the Palladians and the gray aliens and the reptilians, when maybe it's just as simple as what it says in the Bible and what it appears to be. What is that all saying? If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. And if all these things we can see going on and all these people reporting on it are telling us we're in danger, we're probably in danger. And the government even warning us that the grid might go down for 6 months and to be prepared. That should alarm anybody. Even that warning we all got on our cell phones and so much more. Like I said, it's mind-boggling. You can't talk about it in one video. It's just too crazy. So anyways, here's a few more minutes of the last of February. My videos I took about them dumping chemicals in the sky here in the mountains of North Carolina. And leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Seems to me we are in clear and present danger, to steal a cliche from a movie. 13th. Looked outside and said, oh my, there they go again. A jet plane spraying and another one right behind it. One on top of another, as you can see with the dual lines. And if I look around in the sky, I see plenty of evidence of dumped chemicals, not clouds. All that is dumped chemicals. Can you believe it? You better believe it. It's true. I do not see clouds in the sky. I see a lot of white stuff, but it's not clouds. Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. Happy Valentine's Day. February 14th, About 9:06 in the morning. So what does the government tell us on Valentine's Day? I guess they want to tell us they want to spray us like we're bugs. Because that's what's happening. You can see that was a long sprayed line that's very thick right there. So all this stuff they're spraying spreads across in the sky, painting the sky pasty white with chemicals. Looking off towards the north and towards the east. So no doubt about it, they're crisscrossing, literally, a big cross there, X, and parallel lines. Crisscrossing the sky. Here's a new one coming up. Just turned the nozzle on, that son of a gun. Right there. He's spraying away right there. So what the heck are they dumping on we the people on Valentine's Day, 9 o'clock in the morning, 2019? They're spraying us like we're bugs. That says I love you all over it. Not. It says population reduction. Destroying the environment. Look at these jets. Somebody's paying for this. Wouldn't you be a bit surprised to know that it's you and your taxes and your government and the foreign-owned Federal Reserve? Population reduction underway in a community near you. Is this the case? Rick Miracle reporting. February 14th. About almost 10:30 on this Thursday, 2019. Looking off to... My camera just dies. I guess I gotta go buy another one. Anyways, looking off towards the east. As you can plainly see, lots of spray lines of chemicals dumped into the sky. This can't be good for we the people. Spraying us on Valentine's Day, February 14th. That was off towards the east-southeast. This is northeast. So plenty of evidence. Actually, I don't see any clouds. Everything I see appears to be sprayed stuff into the sky. So that's a lot of sprayed stuff, courtesy of the government. There's a plane spraying live there. One right there. You can't see it in the middle of this video. But this one is, so they're live all around me dumping chemicals. What are they doing in your neighborhood? Why are they doing this? What does this cost? I'm just one spot in the mountains of North Carolina. You can see the residue. It's not clouds. You can see the jet plane spraying it. You can see the long sprayed lines, sharp edges. We're being sprayed like we're bugs. Who would do such a thing? It's kind of insidious, sinister, maybe satanic. Rick Miracle reporting. February 14th. Just took a look outside. You got a jet coming out over this tree, spraying a very thick line of stuff. Intentional dumping. Normal exhaust from jets do not emit this kind of stuff. And you can see it looks like he just switched tanks, because they do run out. And then it stops for a second, and they gotta start again. So what are they dumping? And of course these sprayed lines spread apart, blowing in the breeze, painting the sky with white chemicals, as you can see. I'll do a 360. Now that's a lot of stuff to have been dumped into the sky intentionally. Don't you think? How can this be good for we people? To me, obviously, it can't. Are we under attack? It seems so. Rick Miracle reporting. 16th. A little after 9 o'clock on this Saturday morning. Looked outside and said, oh my, powers that be are busy dumping stuff into the sky. Why? Gives them the right. See all the straight lines? These short squirts. Looks like today. That's a short squirt, straight line. Short squirt. So they do have different patterns of what they dump. Looks like we have some clouds on the horizon towards the north. But this stuff they're dumping, here's one. 2 squirts. One here, and another one right beside it. Not the same squirt, they're not in alignment. But they do spread apart like that stuff. So they're dumping chemicals, and it appears to be blowing from the northwest towards the southeast. Chemicals blowing in the breeze over we the people. I keep saying, it can't be good for us. Can it? Nefarious intent. They want to start World War III. They want to depopulate the planet. They want a global world order. And apparently, behind it is, believe it or not, Satanism. Fallen angels, Baal, B-A-A-L, the archways they put in New York and London. And later through UNESCO, I found they were going to put 1,000 of these archways to Baal, the demon devil, all over the world. You can't avoid all the symbols. All-seeing eye on the dollar bill, the little owl on the dollar bill perched on the one, the 6-pointed star for the fallen angel Rephaim. There's more to humanity than we humans. It seems like a spiritual battle is also taking place. And these are the people who are dumping stuff in the sky. That's the connection that concerns me. They hate humanity. They plan on a global world order. And it looks like, with all the assassinations and world wars and other nations toppled with 9/11 and so much more, it looks like they'll stop at nothing. Nothing to attain their goal. These are the people dumping stuff in the sky. Go watch Dane Wigington, Richie from Boston, so many more. Bill Cooper, Ted Gunderson, and so many more. David Icke. Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. Video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. February 16th, Saturday, 2019, about 10:30. The spraying of chemicals in the sky continues. Quite visible. Lines everywhere. Short lines, long lines, splotches, lines that blow apart, straight edges you can see there. Not clouds. There's clouds on the horizon. Some nasty looking clouds over the tops of the mountain to the northeast. But up above, to me, obvious dumped chemicals. Here's some clouds off towards the east. Straight lines, straight lines, straight lines. Dumped chemicals. Dumped chemicals. Maybe biologicals, according to some reports I've read. Maybe nanotechnologies, certain crystals or things, particles that can get into your bloodstream and your body, be affected by microwaves and other transmissions. So there you have it on this Saturday morning, spraying us like we're bugs. I'm not a bug. Are you a bug? Rick Miracle reporting. February 18th, about 7 o'clock on this Monday morning, 2019. The sun is rising, as you can see, but the white lines, sprayed chemicals, are visible. As you can see, splotches, not clouds, spray lines that are blown apart, you can see. So here I am, early in the morning in the mountains of North Carolina. Sprayed material overhead, not clouds. Big blanket of it, actually. You can see it doesn't look like clouds, it's chemicals blowing in the breeze and the straight lines over the horizon. So they're spraying it off towards the east. The wind is blowing this way. And there you have it. We're being sprayed like we're bugs on Monday morning. Boy. February 18th. February 18th. 2019. February 18th. About 3:05 on this Monday. Notice the crisscrossing like a checkerboard of dumped chemical lines in the sky. Here's one spraying right there. Back and forth, left and right, top and bottom. Painting the sky pasty white. Is that not an amazing looking thing? Painting this way with chemicals. There's no mistake in it. This one spraying below the coverage over here. Don't planes usually fly above any coverage? Why would this plane be dumping a line under the coverage or in the midst of it? Just saying. It's almost endless to the amount of them. Right up ahead, all around. And you got some over here you can see, next to the clouds. Right there. One in the clouds right there. So there you have it. Clouds and tons of chemicals dumped in the sky on this Monday. Rick Miracle reporting. South Asheville, North Carolina mountains. February 24th, Sunday, about 1:45, 11:45, 2019. I've been watching the sky this morning, and everything you see is sprayed chemicals. You can see the lines, the square edges. These are clouds over here off to the north. It's the first sunny day we've had in a week. But so they're dumping all this chemicals when we should have a completely blue sky sunny day. They're covering it with this pasty white stuff. Definitely not clouds. I've been watching them spray, and you can see the square edges and straight lines in it. Box shape, and it's blowing apart like strings, as you can see. Off towards the northeast, some clouds. So over here, they're not spraying. The wind is blowing the other way. It's blue. So it's intentional. We don't know what they're dumping and what effect it has on humans and plant life and animal life, the water, the bugs, birds, bees, everything. But they are doing it here in the mountains of North Carolina. March is just days away. And then April, spring, all these trees will start budding. Time passes and something's up. What are they doing and why? Are those fair questions? Should we be asking them? Or should we not care? Here's one spraying as I watch. They fly right in the middle of this stuff they've dumped right on top of these trees. I don't know if this camera's picking up the line. So they spray right in the middle of the stuff they dumped, and it blows in with the breeze. But this guy's spraying right here. Anyways, thanks for watching my videos. Rick Miracle reporting. Video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. February 24th, Sunday, about 2 p.m. 2019. So I'm working out on a yard on this beautiful day. Here in the mountains of North Carolina. A lot of blue there. But a bunch of sprayed stuff there. And a jet just came along and refreshed the spray stuff that's dispersing, as you can see. So there is some intentional program putting certain amounts of this into the air and in certain places, drifting certain ways, not every ways, as you can see here, northwest, north, northeast, clouds up there, but only east and southeast, blowing towards the west, southwest. There you have it. Geoengineering, weather warfare, I don't know. But they're doing something. Rick Miracle reporting. 25th. About 10 minutes to noontime on this Monday. Rick Miracle here in the mountains of North Carolina. Very sunny. A little crispy, cool day. But looking up at the sky, I notice some sky spraying starting. There wasn't any in the last couple hours since I started looking this morning, but now the jets are appearing. There's one right beside this tree. If you can, the camera will pick it up. Anyways, this guy's really cooking along. He just started, as you can see, and over here you can see some sheets of chemicals that have been dumped. Very thin, you can see the lines, but obviously they are getting ready to paint the sky pasty white with chemicals. So you can see this guy's drum ran out, the one I was just watching. They switched drums in the air. I can see some faint lines off in the distance. So they just started. And over here comes another one right off the top of this tree. Like I said, they just started. So we'll see what the day brings. Obviously, they're going to paint the sky pasty white with chemicals yet again. And it otherwise was blue sky like this. First really clear day. There's a little splotch right there. So if you pay attention, you can see what they're doing. Some kind of geoengineering, messing with Mother Nature. Here in the mountains of North Carolina. February 25, just a few more days and it's March. Can't wait until April when the buds appear on the trees. They're actually starting to appear on the trees now and a lot of the bushes. February 25th. Oh my, it's 12:15, 20 minutes since I did the last video, and things have seriously changed, including another anomaly. Obvious electromagnetic radiation. Just ripples and ripples and ripples and the stuff they dumped in the sky. Heavy metals and electromagnetic radiation, radio waves, microwaves, whatever, causes all the ripples. And more evidence of radiation. And more dumping. No clouds in the sky, by the way. Straight lines. Painting the sky pasty white in 20 minutes. Can you believe it? Crisscrossing the sky almost unbelievably. Just helter-skelter lines and crisscrosses and lines. Again, almost unbelievable if I wasn't documenting it. Everywhere I turn, all the residue from dumped lines, that thick line of white stuff right there will blow apart into this stuff. And all that stuff. So there'll be tons of stuff, we don't know what because they don't tell us, dumped into the sky. It's almost like a Frankenstein movie. The monster is loose. Toxins in the air. By whom? For what purpose? Cannot be benevolent. There's no way it's not going to affect us. Don't mess with Mother Nature. All those cliches. Here's one that just popped out of nowhere and is spraying. Right between the big white splotch on the right and the straight line it's flying through right now. It's very faint till it starts blowing apart. We don't know what kind of stuff that stuff is. But there you go. Miracle reporting. Video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. 12:37 after the last video. And oh my! They're busy. One spraying right there as I watch. They're just continuing to crisscross the sky and dump these chemicals. And there's some ripples right there, electromagnetic energy. Oh my! This morning, up until 10 o'clock or after, nothing. Then they started. Then the planes arrived. And you can see what they have done. Not incidental flights from Florida to Ohio or something, but crisscrossing the sky, dumping all these chemicals in a place with a purpose. What's the purpose? Son of a gun! That's almost scary. You think? Rick Miracle reporting. February 25, about 5 minutes after 1 p.m. Oh my. The dumping of stuff in the sky continues. The big X. X's and T's and crisscrossing the sky. Painting it pasty white. Line upon line. Is there any doubt? What are they dumping? You can see planes everywhere. There's a plane spraying. Two just zoomed by, as you can see, the big X. And I have been paying attention to my little meter here. If you can see the count. That's my radiation meter. And it was getting close to 30 or 33, 32. Usually it's 7 or 8 or 9 or 16. So the count has doubled today, which I noticed a few days ago it was pretty high. So the radiation in the air can increase and decrease. So where do you suppose that radiation is coming from? I wonder if they're dumping any kind of radiation, is my point. Ground up nuclear waste. We don't know what they're dumping because they don't tell us. But humanity seems to be under attack. A depopulation event taking place. clouds. The big X. All this white stuff. None of this is clouds. I don't see any clouds anywhere. Rick Miracle reporting. February 25th. About 3 p.m. Lordy, lordy, look what they have done to the sky today. None of this is clouds. Here in the mountains of North Carolina, unbelievable amount of stuff, not clouds, dumped into the sky. Obvious, not clouds. Lordy, lordy, you can see the lines and the stuff blowing around and the wind blowing on the trees right here. What a bunch of stuff. Chemicals, probably biologicals, maybe radioactive materials. The attack on humanity continues. Rick Miracle reporting. February 28th. Thursday, about 8:15 in the morning. There's a kind of a foggy overcast in the sky, but strangely enough, the dumping of chemicals is so thick you can still see the lines. If you look over on the horizon, way over there, you can see the lines peeking through. Straight lines, straight lines, straight lines, and a completely painted sky with some kind of fog. So why would they be flying these jets in the midst of this fog overcast? If you've been on a plane, you know you fly over the clouds. So somebody's dumping chemicals right into this foggy type stuff on this crispy, cool morning in the mountains of North Carolina. As you can see, the sun there's beaming through the fog or whatever it is. But they're spraying away, dumping chemicals in there. If you pay attention, you can see it. There you have it. Spraying us like bugs. Last day of February 2019. Rick Miracle reporting. Well, I hope all that information didn't scare you. It's not the intention. The intention is to wake up. Find out what's going on. Think about it. Ponder it. Share it with friends. Thank you for watching my video. Rick Miracle reporting.